dreams, and dark lower astral entity night visitations. Hello again, thank you for being here with me once more. I hope you are all doing all right, and are happy and full of plans. I am Swaruu. As the saying goes, your vibe attracts your tribe, and as another saying goes, birds of a flock together. This couldn't be more accurate. As I'm always saying, equal frequencies and equal vibrations will be a match to each other. I don't think it is correct to say that they attract each other, as it is not the same mechanism as with electricity and its polarities, for example. In the case of equal, or similar enough frequencies, they are not attracting each other, as perhaps it is wrongly stated in the law of attraction's very name. Equal frequencies or vibrations are simply more of the same, they do not attract anything, or so, may just be an illusion from the point of view of an observer. This is why it is said that you must not focus on what you want, or how you want to be, rather, you must be who you want to be proactively. And you must act as if you already have what you desire, taking action towards achieving your goals, and not simply sit and wait. You must be what you want, not just desire what you seek. But what exactly are frequency and vibration? In simplified terms, frequency is how many times something occurs in a unit of time, and vibration is the physical phenomenon of moving back and forth rapidly. Your consciousness, your soul, has thoughts and ideas that literally vibrate all the cells and molecules in your body, changing their energetic attributes, where a lower frequency is more in accordance with places such as the lower astral, and a higher frequency with much more lovely places. Your thoughts do alter your body physically, and this is why an idea can make someone very sick, and it can even be lethal. From a scientific point of view, thoughts and vibrations are something literal, and can be measured with instrumentation, as it works exactly the same way as radio stations do, where you tune into one or another, only being able to listen to one at a time, even though all the others are always there, but outside of your consciousness awareness. You are energy in the field that is the ether, you are literally physically vibrating at the pace and at the rhythm of your thoughts and emotions, which are measurable wavelengths. There is a simpler, more practical explanation for the frequency and vibration of a person, related to all that it attracts in its life. Using the word attraction here only for explanatory purposes, as we discussed this is not exactly so only a few seconds ago. Wherever a person places his or her attention the most will be the dominant thing in that subject's life. No one can give everything that surrounds them an equal amount of attention, so the things that are simply not interesting to the subject are basically not there for him or her. If you are not interested in golf carts, you may never see them in your daily life, or if you cross your path with one, you may place only a few seconds of your attention on it, as you move past, seeing it only as an obstacle which you quickly forget about, then moving back to your usual thoughts of choice. But if for some reason or twist in life, you suddenly are interested in golf carts, then you will start to see them everywhere in your daily life, as if they suddenly appear out of nowhere for you. From your point of view, you just manifested them into your life experience, although strictly speaking they were always there, and it was you who was filtering them out of your awareness until they started to be interesting to you. This is where we can say that you were a vibrational match with those golf carts, when you were not before. The same thing happens with lower astral entities. When you act like one, when your vibration is low, you become a match to them, to see, interact and be affected by them, simply because your thought patterns and behavior are very similar to theirs, birds of a flock. This is why I say that you must always watch your thoughts and ideas, and analyze them so as not to fall into self-destructive patterns, like those associated with feelings of worthlessness, and all the things and events that will follow because of them. For example, as I've said before, when you are in a high vibratory state, your frequency is far from the reach of lower astral entities, but when you are vibrating low you do become accessible to them because in existential vibration they are very close to the material world, so any slight dip in vibration can cause someone to be in the range of their influence. The physical body is a biological suit, it is an experience equalizer, so all beings, all souls incarnated in one can have a similar experience. Within a very close and narrow vibratory and frequency range we all call the material world, the world of the living, or simply 3D. This means that all souls, regardless of their initial frequency and vibration, light beings and demons alike, will all be mixed together, living and existing in one single realm, or reality, the material world. After understanding what I just said, it is easy to see why there is so much chaos and so much conflict on Earth and elsewhere, and in all the other places inside what we call the material world, as the old war of good against evil is obviously a literal objective thing, and not just a metaphysical concept. This means that no matter how much you try to elevate your frequency and vibration while you are alive, you will always be close to feeling the nefarious influence and presence of those lower astral entities and demons. And this is why while we are alive and in a biological body which is equalizing us to perceive almost the same existential experience, we are vulnerable to lower astral influence, while when we are in the afterlife, our true high vibration, as light beings, will make us go up and far away from their reach, making them dissolve into nothingness in our experience, and this can be another definition of heaven. But while we are alive, we must always be fearlessly vigilant as we go about our business, enjoying our physical experience, our lives. As I explained in my last video about dreams and what they are, when the subject goes to sleep at night, the body is at rest, and the brain, the reality filtering mechanism, is at its lowest, allowing the person to be aware of and experience other existential realities in the astral, which are called dreams. The same way as when the subject is awake, while asleep the subject's thoughts and ideas will bring whatever is in the field into his or her attention, into the person's reality and experience, because of matching frequencies and vibrations as explained before. Lower astral entities, beings and demons, which are the worst kind to be found there, will go towards the sleeping people who are a better match for them, being those the ones who can give them whatever they want, which is mostly energetic food, which is the creative attention of a soul with a strong connection to Source. What they want is to concentrate all the subject's attention on them, so they can be fed the creative manifestation power only souls with a strong connection to Source have, and which they do not, because of their extremely low existential frequency and vibration, as I've explained in other videos. Paranormal activity from the lower astral appears to be more active at night when the world is calmer, more silent, and there is less visual stimulation because of the low light conditions, and also because of the collective unconscious and how it influences the entire population into thinking and manifesting the same things, as well as other planetary energetic dynamics. This is why the lower astral tends to be closer to the material world at night than during the daytime. In general, the night makes the crossover to the material world easier, therefore living people can be accessed and influenced more strongly, although the lower astral and all its beings and entities surround the living all the time, day and night, but they cannot always be seen. but remember that if you can see them, they can see you. Fear is a great concentrator of any person's attention, so the thing that is causing fear or terror will get as much manifestation energy as possible, as the subject cannot focus on anything else but that which is causing the fear, because his or her survival mechanisms are activated. There are countless kinds of dark entities, and many change shape according to how each living person perceives them, and depending on what causes the most fear in each one of them. But nevertheless there are many types of lower astral dark entities that are easily identifiable because they appear essentially the same way to whoever has encountered them. Most of the ones that are responsible for night terrors are those which look like hideous half-rotten cadavers, while other common ones look like deformed creatures with curved backs and long skinny arms and legs with horrible faces, and all covered with black spikes in every direction. Another very common astral entity is the one that appears to the subject as a dark blur, for example as a corner in a room that is darker than the deepest blackness and causes terror, like an awareness of something extremely malevolent hiding behind that blackness, which can also appear as an extremely dark dense mist. Then we also have the infamous succubus and incubus sexual predator lower astral entities classified as demons, which are focused not only on exploiting fear from the subject, but also sexual energy, not only by committing direct and literal sexual attacks, but also deviating or deforming healthy natural sexual urges into a perverted, sick caricature of them, many times causing sexual dysfunctions in their victims to exploit their frustration, or simply to feed from the altered frequency of the victim's deformed sexuality. When the subject falls asleep, especially if he or she is in a very low vibratory state, for whatever reason, problems in their lives or addictions for example, they become easy prey to all those lower astral creatures who are lurking in the dark, looking for food in the shape of fear. They are always on the watch for potential victims, those with lower existential vibrations, but just about anyone can fall victim to one or more of those entities if they find a weakness they can exploit to their advantage, for example, something that causes the subject a lot of fear, so these entities will use the person's phobias to their advantage, much as a hole in the subject's aura field, or armor. This means that just about anyone can be vulnerable to having this kind of night visitations and terrors, even though in life that same person may be of a very high vibration and frequency, with it living a happy and fulfilling life. In general, if you fear the night visitation, you will be giving it exactly what it wants from you. Remember that in general those lower astral creatures cannot do you any harm, so their only real tool is making you feel fear. Those creatures can cause real tangible damage to the individual, both physically and psychologically, but that is a subject for another video, but most usually they are nothing more than a harmless nuisance. If it is fear they want, don't give it to them. In general, you must face the entity that is bothering you at night, fearlessly. You must show them that you are in control of your emotions, even when they are trying to cause you fear directly, or simply exploiting your night body paralysis. If you feel paralyzed, let it be, just relax, fearlessly, and don't fall into fearing sleep apnea either. I know it can be very frightening, and that's why they are using that on you. Sleep paralysis is a normal mechanism of your body and nervous system, to prevent you from literally trying to act out what you are dreaming. For example, you may be dreaming that you are running, but your body will, and must remain at rest, or else it will logically cause accidents and other obvious problems, and it is easy to see why lower astral entities use this to their advantage. But sleep paralysis can also be caused by those lower astral entities themselves, as well as by alien races in the process of abducting someone. Sleep apnea, on the other hand, can be a physical disorder caused by a wide variety of medical conditions or reasons, as well as psychological ones, but you must also know that lower astral entities also can cause sleep apnea to frighten their victims. Facing them fearlessly and even talking to them, asking them to go away, is the most effective way to get rid of them, and it works in most cases, with the exception of the most difficult ones, caused by demons, and which may need a more complicated procedure I may talk about in another video, although this is already in the field of demonology and possessions, which is a very complicated and delicate subject. I can share with you some words which are said to be effective against lower astral night visitations. They are simple phrases in the Old Latin language which may be of help. Some of them are contaminated or influenced by modern languages, but that is how they are used today. Exite means go away. Retro exite means back off. Vade Retro means go away. Pedicabo Procul E means go away. A retro vias means something like back off and away. Me tangere non pots means you can't touch me. In case they are not easily understood in audio, spoken here, I will leave them in the description under this video. Most strong lower astral entities, especially those classified as demons, are very old, especially when seen from the point of view of the world of the living, because as I've explained before, time does not work the same way in the astral, as I have explained in another video. As they are very old, they do tend to understand the most prominent language of old, which is Latin, although Old Greek may also be useful, knowing that the location you may be living in may also have older different languages which can also be used to talk to those entities to firmly ask them to leave you alone. For example, Old Celtic language, Native American, or old extinct Mesoamerican languages can be very useful depending on where you live or where you are. Use them and be creative, but always be firm, short and concise. Never give them any kind of rite of pass, never invite them in, never welcome them, or they may become a real nightmare to get rid of. And never use any instruments such as Ouija boards, or spells to contact them. Do not open any kind of door you cannot close. The astral world is very complex and difficult to understand, even more so when trying to understand it from the world of the living, and each entity there is different, and many can be very strong. There is still a lot more to say on this subject, and I will continue to share as much information as I can in future videos. Thank you for watching and subscribing. I appreciate it a lot, it is very helpful. And I hope to see you here next time. Take care and be strong, you beautiful souls out there. With much love, your friend, Swaruu.